Hi friendzoneies, thanks for tuning back into another Keeping It Real with Danie Steele. So I felt compelled to make a video about my latest experience dining out while black. My husband and I went to, I don't know, should I say the name of the restaurant or should I give them a break?
Say it.
All right, Ken. I'm not gonna say it, okay? And they can't sue me for it. It's because it's true. Okay, it's like what actually happened. Okay, so it was the Smith in New York. Okay, so what happened was we sat down to eat next to these two Asian gentlemen, which I noticed because we sit very close. I think they were brothers. And they were having a great conversation. You know, I try to stay out of it. You know, I wasn't looking over them, but, you know, I heard their conversation from time to time because the tables are very close. I worked in restaurants, so one of the things they like to do is to make the tables as close as possible so they can fit as many people as possible and get turnaround. They don't care that it's like an uncomfortable experience, especially because it's New York and everyone's like, oh, who cares? It's New York. Just be happy for great food, you know? And the food wasn't even that great. I'm sorry, it wasn't, guys. The brunch, it wasn't. Maybe I should have ordered something different. I don't know. Anyways, the point is, so we sat down next to them. My husband sat across from me, and then I sat across from him here. And then like there was an Asian guy and an Asian guy here. And then like 15 minutes into our meal, so before the food had come, 15 minutes into us sitting down, two white women sat down, and I didn't know their relationship to one another. They looked similar in age to me. Like I couldn't tell. Like I didn't bother to like look at them in detail. But the point is, one of them kept looking at me in detail, right? Like she could tell her friends what I look like. She could tell her friends. You know what I'm saying? She could describe me in detail because she was looking at me very much in detail. Like this, like she's sitting over here. Okay, so like this is my table. This is her table. She's sitting over here and she's just like looking at me like, bitch, the fuck is you looking at? I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Okay, and I'm gonna go even further. Okay, at an event a friend of mine had, I noticed a woman continuously looking at me, a white woman. And I was like, it's so rude. It's so rude to look at someone, not say anything. You know what I'm saying? Like if I see a person, if I see Lizard Man, I'm not just gonna stare at him. I would stare at him and be like, wow, you're Lizard Man, right? Like even if your reaction is like, wow, you're black, then just say that. But anyways, the point is, like at the event, my friend was like, my friend came up to me and she was like, oh a friend of mine thinks you're really pretty. And it was the woman that was staring at me. And I'm like, that's great, but like, why don't you say something? I don't understand why you don't open your mouth. I don't understand it. We were riding bikes, on the west side with my husband, so like on over there, like on the water on the west side when it was nicer out. And I assumed they were boyfriend and girlfriend. They looked like hipsters, so sorry. Anyways, a young couple. Maybe they were married. But anyways, I saw a younger white woman and white male walking down the street, walking down the path that runs parallel to the bike path, right? So we're riding on the bike path and then there's a walking path in New York. Well, so anyways, I saw them, okay, and the girl had a cute sweater on. Like it was so cute. It was so cute. I was like, the only reason she's wearing it, like she was wearing it like one of those like I'm golfing, but let me wear my sweater like up here, you know, like where the sleeves are right here and then it like dangles down your back. That's how she was wearing it. And in New York City, it wasn't a golf course. So the only reason she's wearing this very cute sweater like that is for it to be seen. So I said to her as we were riding past her on our bikes, I was like, very cute sweater. And it took her a moment to respond, but she was like, oh, thank you. And my husband noticed. He was like, oh, it took her a moment to respond, right? And I was like, I understand, because, you know, probably most women wouldn't say anything to her. But my point is, hey, she's clearly wearing it because she wants it to be seen. So my point is, give the girl the compliment. Give the girl the compliment. Say something to her. I mean, yeah, I was on a bike, so like if I just stared at her, she wouldn't have noticed anyways. But like the point is, I didn't just stare at her and keep it moving. I saw her. I saw the detail in her sweater. I saw that she was thirsty for that compliment. I'm joking. Anyways, whatever. I gave her the compliment. You know, like I'm not even. It's a race issue. It's a race issue. But another issue is it's a woman issue. You know, it's like, what's wrong with giving women compliments? And, you know, as a black woman, I have to say, I feel like black women are more apt to give compliments to women, even that they feel are pretty, or even if they think they're prettier than them, you know, whereas other women are just like, I'm going to keep it to myself. Yeah, she looks great, and I'm going to keep it to myself. And I'm like, that's shady. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. If I see a woman, you know, presenting herself in the best way, I'm going to tell her, winning. That look that you put together, that you were really concerned about, you know, putting together today, it worked out for you. You did a good job. You know what I'm saying? Give women props where props are due. Haters. Anyways, back to the restaurant. Okay. So we went to this restaurant in New York City, the Smith. Okay, we've been there before. It's tight. Okay, when you're sitting tight in a restaurant, especially in New York City, okay, there's a certain decorum. Okay? So like, basically, you don't move your eyes much. You don't move your head much from the person directly across from you. When you're sitting at tables of twos, so it's one person and their guest, you and your guest, a different person and their guest, right? This girl sat down, apparently what I would later learn was her mother, and just was like, sits down with her mom, boop, ah! What the fuck? That's, at a base level, it's weird. At a base level. Anyone using common sense would be like, you know what? This person's pretty fucking rude. You don't even have to bring race into it. You can bring New York City, the setting, into it. We are at a popular restaurant. They're going to pack the tables. You're sitting very close to people you don't know, just like the subway. If you're on the subway, and I've seen people do this. I've seen men do this to women. Not me, though. You're not just going to stare at me the whole fucking ride. That's what you're not going to do. I will get off because I'm not interested in that life. Okay, I'm not about that someone just staring at me for a fucking train ride life. I will get off and go to another car. Or I will say something to you. Can I help you? Like, what are you looking at? Because if you're staring, that's great. Say something. Don't just stare like a fucking, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Freak. Staring like a freak. What the fuck are you staring for? And then you guys stare and you're like, oh, it's totally normal. But people did the same thing to me when I was in Italy for my fucking wedding. And similar, I listened to the women's conversation next to me, okay, when they sat down, and the girl, later, like I said, I later learned was the daughter. I don't give a fuck. She wasn't 5. And when I was like, oh, how people let their kids stare, people were like, you're so evil in my video about traveling abroad because people let their kids stare at you. They stare at you. They let their kids stare at you. No decorum. This is mostly Western people. Westerner people. And if you're a Western person, most likely you live in a country with minorities. You live in a country with people of color. These are mostly Americans, Europeans. You're used to seeing black people. Stop. It's not a huge deal for you. And you're not gonna have me sitting here, well, maybe they've never seen a black person. This isn't Eastern Europe. This is Italy. This is Italy. These are major cities in Italy. People staring. And I comment on it, and I get people disliking the video and being like, that's really mean of you to say, to stare back at people staring at you. It's not mean of me. It's mean of a black person to say, to stare back at white people staring at you. Then all of a sudden, it's mean. It's mean. Anyways, back to the restaurant, okay? This chick was staring hard fucking core like I was one of her guests. So much so that her own mother said, do you recognize someone? Because she was staring at me, and I think she even went over her fucking peripheral and started staring at the Asian guys that were there. Like, bitch, what the fuck is so, like, what? What are you so amazed at? You know what I'm saying? And whether it's like one event or multiple events I've been at, people are like, oh, you're just so pretty, or I thought I recognized you, or and then too, like I said, this couple did what people did to me in Italy, where they started talking about my food. Where is it normal to stare at other people's food right next to you as they fucking eat and just be talking about it the whole fucking time, and you don't say shit? And that's normal? I'm just supposed to put up with that shit? I'm just supposed to be like, oh, well, that's normal. It's normal for people to come to a restaurant and base their entire conversation on what the fuck I'm eating. That's normal. So, I texted my husband. Okay, everyone knows by now, DK show, I'm in an interracial relationship. I texted my husband. I said, tell the waitress I want to move. These women next to me are staring. This one woman particularly is staring at me. So much so that I've heard them commenting on my food. Her mother asking her if she recognized me. I'm right fucking here. She's right there. Like, if my sister was, if your family was eating with you, she would be a family member. Only she wasn't. Only she wasn't a fucking family member. She was someone I didn't fucking know. So anyways, text my husband, tell the waitress to move us, while he was in the bathroom. He didn't get the text. He comes back and sits down. I get up to go use the bathroom. I'm like, okay, fine. I'll tell her while I go to the bathroom. Told the waitress, I said, that woman, those two women that just sat down next to me, they're staring at me like literally like I can't eat. They're like in my mouth. They're like commenting on my food, everything. And this isn't something new. This happens a lot. If you're a black person that eats out at like restaurants, predominantly, I guess, eaten at by white people. It's not anything new. It's happened so many times. Anyways, I told her, I was like, they're being pretty rude. They obviously don't know how to act. And they're like looking at me while I eat and like commenting on my food. So I don't want to sit next to them. So you can move me. You can move us. We're two-top. I worked at restaurants. We're two-top. It's not hard to reseat a two-top that you haven't served their fucking food yet. I go to the bathroom. I come back. There's 2 dining rooms at the Smith in Manhattan, okay, at this location. We were seated in the back dining room, of course, and I do believe that that's probably a tactic that restaurants use in major cities of seating black guests in the back room. I do, because I asked her to move us and I came back and we were seated in the back room. So to move us, I would have to be very far away from this girl. We were seated in the back of the back room. So I would have to be at the front of the back room or in a different fucking room to not be around her. Someone who doesn't know how to behave when they go out to eat. Okay, so I go to the back room again. I look at the front of the back room. I don't see my husband. So I'm like, oh, they must have moved us to the front room. Makes sense. I asked to be moved. I go to the front room. I don't see my husband. The fuck? I call him. I'm like, where are you? Oh, basically right the fuck where we just were. This waitress moved us a table away from where we were just sitting. And the argument made to me is, oh, you can't see her anymore. Oh, well, you can't see her anymore. Like I'm a fucking baby. Like I'm a fucking infant. And you playing goo goo gaga with me. And, I don't see her. They're not there anymore. I'm a grown ass fucking adult. I know good and goddamn well the bitch is right the fuck there. She can still hear our conversation. And you think it's appropriate to put me the table over? I was so fucking disgusted. We shan't be going back there. Okay. And I guess everyone would be like, good, don't go back. I'm not. Because the food wasn't even fucking great. And honestly, after being to Italy, it's like, you can't do seafood better than Italy here. So I don't even care anymore about the food experiences, honestly. Okay, I digress. The point is, I found it very rude that I asked to be moved, a simple request. And in the front dining room, multiple open tables. It was brunch. It's brunch. There were a lot of people, but there's still multiple empty tables. Okay? In the front dining room. She chose, and I understand, like I said, I worked as a waiter. I understand that usually when you're working as a waiter, you have your seating, okay, in one section. So she obviously wouldn't have tables in the front section and the back section. That's too much runaround. Okay? She should have, using her fucking brain, said, hey, so-and-so, can you take over this table? They don't want to sit here anymore. I can't seat them in my section. But instead, her little greedy ass sat us in her fucking section, not any further away from them than we were before. It's disrespectful. It's dismissive of my complaint. I didn't mention shit to her about race. She said, oh, the mother and the daughter? They're being rude? I said, yeah, they are. And if they're a mother and a daughter, then the mother clearly hasn't taught her daughter common sense because they're staring at me whilst I eat and commenting on my food. They don't have food. They're not talking about their food. They're not talking about food of the future. They're not. So the point is, I'm tired of this shit. Okay, it wasn't handled properly. And I was told, okay, by my husband, okay, so I'm trying to be nice for him, right? Because, you know, it's like, oh, I don't want to embarrass this person with me. But he straight up asked me, he's sitting right here, so he's fucking good with it, because we already had a conversation. He's good with it, what I'm about to say. He told me, oh, why didn't you say something to her? I said, this chick looked at me like 6 to 9 times at least. Like, easily. Like, she's sitting this way and looked at me like, oh, why didn't you say something to her? So you can bet your bottom dollar I will be saying something now to everyone, because apparently he doesn't have a problem with it. You know, it's not going to embarrass him, and it shouldn't, because I shouldn't be inconvenienced. And if you're not going to look out for me and make sure that I'm not inconvenienced, I'll do it myself. Disrespect and disregard for our complaints. Even the apartment that I live in right now, I told them, you got a couple people here working here that I think, you know, feel like they're doing their job when they treat black people poorly. And that's something that is pervasive in American culture. So whether you're white or black, if you're working at a place, you know, you're more apt to treat the black people poorly of anyone, right? And I point that shit out. Completely dismiss. Completely dismissed. I saw one woman in the office roll her eyes when I talked about it. Roll her eyes, a white woman, roll her eyes as if she would know anything about that sort of experience or treatment. And I was particularly talking about people of color who I feel like are going out of their way working here. You know, I'm like, you know, it's something that people of color do multiple places. Like I said, it's pervasive in American culture, so it's white or black, where they feel like, you know, they're showing, you know, that they're a good worker bee by treating the black people poorly. And I wanted to remind him that that is something that happens. And, you know, check your employees because it's happening and it's annoying. I've been here for, you know, a long time now and it's still happening. They didn't check their employee. I think they probably went to her and was like, this chick was bitching and said this, this, and that. They didn't do anything to rectify the situation. Even when, you know, seeking counseling, if you talk to a doctor and you talk to them about racism, they'll basically laugh in your face. It's not taken seriously at all, you know? And I do believe it's a race issue because I've never seen another black person sitting in tables like this and they just go and stare at someone else. I think you guys are used to demeaning us and subjecting us to shit you would never tolerate. And what I'm telling you is this shit's not going to be tolerated anymore. Period. Period. So that's it. That's it. I'm done. I'm done with this video and this conversation. Okay. Shit, it's 22 minutes.
Oh, you didn't know?
I'm gonna try to cut it down. I'm gonna try to cut it down to 18. Oh, well, y'all can listen to all of it because there's people that have fucking hour-long videos and they'll be up there, oh, the video's not working. Hold on, oh, Skype, hold on, my other chat room that I'm in, hold on, and you sit there and you listen the whole fucking time. And then I make my videos and it's, you're kind of boring. I'm boring? I'll be that. All right. Thanks for watching, you guys. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share this video with anyone that you feel like might have had a similar experience or, you know, whatever. Just share it and comment, all right? All right. And subscribe. Okay. Talk to you guys later. Bye.